What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And today we are out in the garage, and as you saw from the title or the thumbnail, we're turning the new Mini Cooper into a race car. Now, no, we're not just turning it into a race car. It's still going to be your daily driver, obviously, but I think I'm going to do the full autocross season with the Mini. Now, if you guys haven't seen the channel before, I do have a 2018 ZL1 1LE Camaro that is my dedicated track car and autocross car. It's been that way for like 3 years or however long it's been since I bought that thing new. But we're gonna change it up a little bit since we are in process of building the new house. Or not really in process yet, but we are in a rental. We only have a little teeny 2-car garage now instead of the big garage we had before. The Camaro got shoved away off into a storage unit. So the Mini is available, which means everything must be raced or off-roaded or whatever. So the Mini is gonna be my dedicated autocross car this year. So that means we need to have a few mods to make it autocross worthy. Now, the first thing I did wasn't really for autocross, it was just kind of for removing stuff out of the vehicle to make it more livable. And this is all of the stuff that I pulled off the car. These are both of the rear seat headrests. This is the rear cargo cover thing that goes, up above where the seat is. This is the rear load floor that goes in the back trunk area. And then last but not least, we've got the big plastic engine beauty cover. Now, the main reason I pulled all of that stuff off was kind of for cargo room. And by cargo room, I mean we have a lot more room in this thing now that we've got that load floor out of there, that cargo cover off. You can fit a lot more in the back of this thing now that the floor is, 6 inches lower. You can just load more stuff in it. But the kind of cool added benefit is all of that stuff does weigh something. I just weighed all of that and it weighs around 12 pounds. Now, no, that's not gonna make the car outrageously quicker, but in theory, any weight out of an electric car can only be beneficial with more range or less battery usage. Now, yes, I know 12 pounds is not really gonna do much of anything, but I don't know. If it's just dead weight you're carrying around, why not take it out of the car? That's a 12-pound dumbbell that you're just adding into the trunk of your vehicle. So yeah, pulled all that stuff out of there. We don't need it, and it can only help, again, on the road and out at autocross. So that's kind of the first mod I did. And now I really wanted to autocross this thing completely bone stock, but I knew I would just be destroying the factory tires for no reason. It wouldn't be terribly grippy. It would just be a lot of sliding, and it would just be a ton of wear on those factory tires that she needs to drive daily down the road. So I ended up getting a dedicated set of wheels and tires for autocross. Now, what I ended up with was a set of Motegi Racing track light wheels. These are a 17 by 7 inch wheel, and I've got a set of new Falcon Azenas RT660 tires in a 215/40 R17. Now, the originals here are 16 by 6.5, but you can, per autocross rules, run a different sized wheel as long as there was a factory option, yada, yada, yada. So you could have optioned the 17 by 7s on a Mini SE. This one was not, but again, it is a factory option. So that's why we've got 17s on this thing. And one of the kind of cool things that I did was get a shorter than factory tire. Because if we take a look, there is, on paper at least, 6/10 of an inch difference between the new tire and the original tire. Now, what is that slightly shorter diameter going to do for me? In theory, that is like changing the gearing on a vehicle. It will hopefully help it accelerate just that little bit quicker than if it was on the factory tire. So again, you're going to lose top speed in an electric vehicle, but on an autocross course, that is never a concern. You just want acceleration. So hopefully in theory, that shorter tire is going to help this thing move quicker down the track. Now I'm gonna get this last tire thrown on and then we'll take a quick look at it and then do obviously the most important race car thing that we need to do to this thing. So now that we've got that last wheel on, we can get a good look at this thing. And honestly, it is a pretty cool looking wheel. Now, yes, there is a big fender gap on this thing. And yeah, the suspension will settle down just a little bit once the car moves, but it's still going to be a pretty decent gap because again, these are over a ½ inch shorter than the factory tire over there. But since this thing is going to be back on factory wheels when it's on the street, I really don't want to lower this thing. And again, if you are actually running in SCCA autocross classes, there's definitely rules and regulations on when you can lower and not lower in what class. So honestly, I am pretty excited to drive this thing. There is an event in like 2 weeks coming up. It'll be a 2-day mid-div event. There should be a ton of cars out there. And it'll be breaking me in a front wheel drive electric Mini Cooper versus the big 650 horsepower Camaro that I've been so used to. So it's gonna be one heck of a learning curve on how to drive a front wheel drive car because I've been driving Camaros and autocross for a very long time. Now, supposedly every single Mini guy that is out autocrossing has a aftermarket rear sway bar, a stiffer one to help the cars rotate. I'm gonna leave this one stock for now. We're gonna autocross it and see how it does. And for all I know, we will be doing a video on how to install a rear sway bar because if it is as bad as everybody talks about, we are definitely gonna need one. But like I said, we're gonna drive it as is, other than the wheels and tires, and see how well this thing does out there. Now, kind of last but not least, the one thing that makes a normal car into a race car is not modifications, it's not wheels and tires, it's not engine parts, it's numbers. You gotta have numbers on a race car, otherwise it's just a normal street car. Now, these are just some magnetic numbers that I have had for Mini Camaros, and they had been retired since I have vinyl on the new Camaro, but now they are going to be reused. I've now got a G on this thing for G Street, which is what the Mini Cooper, or at least the electric Minis class is. So we're an official race car now, guys. We've got wheels and tires, and we've got track numbers. That means it's ready to go. So like I said, we've unfortunately got a few weeks before the first event with this thing, but I don't know. I'm pretty excited. I hope it does really well, and we'll figure it out together. I'll have you guys in car with me. We'll be talking through how well this thing turns or doesn't turn, or I don't know. It will be quite an experience. Now, before I let you guys go, we're gonna do one more Mini Cooper mod. Now, no, it's not on the car, but it's on the key. We're doing a key mod, but Mini Cooper has this ridiculously huge disc on their keys, and it doesn't really fit in your pocket that great, and it takes up an absurd amount of room because it's so huge. But the kind of cool thing is you can take that big, massive disc off this thing and either just leave it off, or you can buy these little cheap aftermarket replacement shells that will go over the key and make it look a lot slimmer. Now, like I said, the only thing we're really going to need is a flat blade screwdriver. You're going to flip the key onto the back side of it, and there is a small little spot for you to get a flat blade under. And it sounds pretty horrible, but you pry the back cover off this thing. Now, once it's off, then you're able to just slide this big, huge, ridiculous cover off of the key. And then honestly, you could stop at that point. You could clip the back cover back on this thing, and you would have a very slim, nice key. Now, you do kind of have some exposed clips, and it doesn't look that terribly nice. So there is some cheap aftermarket little key cover things. This one's a little fake carbon fiber with a little Union Jack logo here on the side. And again, these were just super cheap on eBay, but if you slide that on and then put the key cover back on, you then have a kind of more finished look to your modified key. And now guys, I have no clue why the Mini Cooper key is that huge and ridiculous, but with, you know, a $10 or $5 little shell, you can have that key a heck of a lot smaller in your pocket or in your bag or wherever you're carrying this thing and not have it look so outrageous. And I'm sure we're gonna save ounces of weight out on the autocross course, and that's where it really counts. So guys, I hope you're as excited as I am to get this thing out on the autocross course and hopefully not make a complete fool of myself. Now, like I said, the first event is in like 2 weeks. It's a mid-div, which is a larger event than just the normal regional events. So there's gonna be a lot of cars out there. I hope there's some people in this class, and hopefully we can kind of see where we stack up, if I can keep up with everybody or if I'm at the bottom of the list. I don't know. I'm gonna drive it. We're gonna have some good grippy wheels and tires on this thing and hopefully go fast and not run out of battery. So guys, thanks for coming out in the garage with me here and turning this street car into a hardened race car. And hopefully in a few weeks, we'll be out on track and going fast. So guys, as always, thanks for watching and we'll catch you guys next time.